Live. Now, the just-ended AfricaCast broadcasting conference saw the SABC, Google, YouTube and CNBC convening to discuss the future of broadcasting in Africa. As the collision of TV and internet accelerates and competition for audiences intensifies, how can industry players position themselves to stay ahead of the competition? Well, these and more questions were tackled at this particular conference, and for more on it, we are joined by the SABC Group Chief Executive Officer, Lulama Mokhobo. It's good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you, Leanne.
How was the conference? You know, your impressions of it.
Look, it was huge. It was amazing, and as you say, everybody was there. Google was there, and the main thing is the fact that they showed scary pictures about the future of broadcasting. Oh. Leanne, you and I, in the current format, are soon going to be obsolete.
Okay. Now, you've got to explain this to me because I'm scared. Does this mean I'm not going to have a job? Or I'll have a job in a very different form?
Be very afraid. Well, let's put it this way. The broadband is bringing with it access to consumers to create their own content, user-generated content, what people generally call citizen journalism, is something that's going to grow and become bigger in our lives. And I'm sure you've seen disasters internationally where broadcasters would literally depend on people on the ground to send them visuals, because they would be there, right there where the typhoon is happening, and the visuals are coming through. Consumers are becoming more and more demanding of the speed with which they get their information, that they need to get it anywhere. It doesn't matter where they are, whether even by normal telephony. We are moving in that direction. You could be sitting in your office and watching whatever you're wanting to watch on your telephone. And I'm not even talking cell phone anymore. As you know, there's now what's called cloud computing, which basically means that as an ordinary citizen, you can't afford to get your own file server and do the kinds of things that you want to do, access your apps or do whatever. Cloud computing is becoming the future now, where you can have your own server sitting somewhere elsewhere on satellite in the sky, and you can access what, for you and me, we can only access in the workplace. And you can access it wherever you are.
It's amazing when you think there, because it's not far off. It's already there. I mean, when you talk about cloud, it is there. When you talk about reporters on the ground who are not reporters, because these are just normal people filming on their cell phones or filming on whatever device they've got and sending it through. This is it. I mean, you look at things like Twitter, you look at things like whatever it may be on social media. It's changed the face of television. People are not waiting anymore.
Absolutely. Not too long ago, we all sat shocked in our living rooms watching TV, watching these kids who were literally beating up a teacher, the one boy, and chasing him out of school with a stick. It took one child recording this on their mobile for South Africa to know that our schooling system is in deep, deep trouble. And there's a lot of anger out there with young people. So, the world is getting smaller and smaller and changing.
And broadcasting is changing because it, in a way, almost threatens the space. Because at points, I mean, let's talk about something like news. You used to wait for that all-important 7 o'clock news bulletin because you were going to get the news of the day. But the news is constant. It's constant all the time, throughout the day, always now. So by the time you get to that point, television needs to move. It needs to change.
Absolutely.
What are we as the SABC going to be doing? How are people, viewers at home, going to see those changes taking place?
You know, the big thing that you can do for us, Leanne, sitting here, is to say to us, guys, when I'm sitting here trying to do what I need to do, I'm finding a challenge because I'm seeing the competitors doing A, B, C, D, E. Please, can we move with the times as well? Fact of the matter is, we have to be present on all platforms. The viewer, the standard viewer, no longer depends on what Leanne tells them. They have all kinds of other filtering systems and streams that are coming to them. Twitter has taken the world over. YouTube has taken over. There's Hulu, which is doing the same thing now. So as broadcasters, we need to make sure that we're able to play in those spaces as well. Public broadcasting, very critical. You're giving people information that they can use in order for them to determine what they do with their lives on an ongoing basis, very regular basis. Very, very critical role that you play.
Yeah.
But we need, from our technology perspective, to be able to stream that content in a manner that anybody who wants to review what they had seen earlier is able to do that. And that's the power of broadband, because it's now going to enable deep interactivity, where they can even go ahead, instead of waiting for you to read Twitter, they can go ahead and interfere in your screen and send out whatever new information that they may want to put out. Key thing, though, is what risks does all of that entail?
Yeah.
As a public broadcaster, very responsible. We cannot put gratuitous content in there, unacceptable content. We can't do that. So we are going to have to work out the kinds of filtering systems, the buffers that we'll have to apply in order to enable you to be able to become world-class in how you manage content without compromising the integrity of the broadcaster.
Absolutely, which is all important. Just finally, we've run out of time, but
Sure.
The whole conference is about the future of broadcasting on the African continent. How are we doing in comparison to the rest of the world? And you've told us about the future and where we're going, but how are we doing? How far off are we? I mean, we talk about analog and digital. When are we going to get to digital?
I think we're right there. In terms of our technology readiness. We are right there with our human capital readiness. It is infusing within our work streams all these additional devices and opportunities where we are still at a learning phase. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to us. I wish we had more time, because this is an interesting conversation. The future of broadcasting, the future of what it looks like here on the African continent, how we're doing. SABC Group CEO, the Lulama Mokhobo, talking to us about this conference that wrapped up yesterday, AfricaCast Broadcasting, that saw huge organizations like YouTube, CNBC, Google, you name it, as well as the SABC gathering to talk about it.